Welcome to the Powercast with Charlie Johnson. I'm one of the world's leading fitness and transformation coaches. I'm going to be providing you with the tools to build your ultimate body and mind. Absolute pleasure today to have Carlie J on the podcast. She's actually, funny enough, I only just found it very local to me in Weybridge in Surrey. Very, very small world. So she herself is an author, speaker, and has had an incredible life transformation, losing 140 pounds, which I know is like a huge life change. So I think it's going to be a truly inspiring episode of the Powercast today. And I really just wanted to have, it's actually a pleasure to have Carlie on the podcast, but I wanted her to really give inspiration and confidence to anyone who's maybe struggling out there or doubting themselves in terms of their own personal journey and where they are at with their own transformation. So thank you very much for coming on, Carlie.
Brilliant. Thank you for having me.
So if anyone who doesn't know about you, obviously, let's have a little chat about who you are, where it all started and where you came from, so people might notice a little bit of a twang of an accent.
So yes, I'm Carlie J. I started my brand and business of Miss Carlie J because of my story and what I've been through. So I grew up in Australia. Yep. You can. What's your
Instagram, just in case anyone wants to have a quick look who you are? Right.
Oh, so it is Miss Carlie J _healthy living.
So go and have a stalk quickly, everyone.
Yeah. have a look, like away. But yeah, so I grew up in Australia. I was always a really big girl. I was overweight. I was obese. I was fat. There is no way of hiding those words. None of them offend me. I was who I was and I loved it. I was always told, big is beautiful, or it's hereditary, or I was big boned. So I grew up with that mindset. I would always be big. I would always be overweight. My whole family was. Even though I loved sports, I loved food just as much. And I grew up in quite a strict household and quite a foodie household. So we were always forced to eat what's on your plate and to, appreciate food and never waste food and all of that. So yeah, I grew up in Oz as obviously quite an overweight child and an overweight teen as well. And into my early 20s, I was bigger than probably most adults were. But I loved life and I didn't care and I was confident and I loved my body almost too much in a way that I never cared to do anything about it because I was happy. And I actually left Australia when I was 24 and I went backpacking the world. I left Australia with one bag of clothes and I travelled 25 countries in 7 months to get from Australia to the UK. And I did that with my whole loving life, big self, just going out there and enjoying, what I wanted to do in my 20s, really. And I got to the UK in 2010, so 9 years ago. And again, was really big, not into the fitness or health world at all, even though I was sort of fascinated by nutrition and the body. And I'd studied things like skin science and things to do with nutrition.
And at that point, had been like being slightly overweight ever affected your confidence, or you seem like a very confident person anyway, like you just don't give a shit what anyone thinks. I love.
Literally, I never gave a shit. Like, that was my attitude in life. And I think this is why I never did something earlier, because I didn't care to. I was like, F it, I'm going to live my life how I want to live.
Yeah.
And I always had friends. I always had a boyfriend, nothing. I'm sure there was people behind my back that maybe was bitter or nasty or bullying, kids when they're in school and stuff. But because I wore it with pride, my friends often said to me, they never remembered me being so big. They said, it's like it never bothered you. And I was like, that's because it didn't. I was quite happy with how I was. And I traveled so much. I experienced life. I was a party animal. I loved sports as well, but it's like I loved food. I used to drink a lot. In Australia, we partied loads. I smoked. I took drugs. I drank 4 days out of the week. We really loved life. And there was no denying that. Like, I've got nothing to hide about how my childhood or my teenage years were. And that was me. That was my overly confident, I'm going to live my life how I want to. And I think it's because I never thought I could lose weight. Because my mum and everyone used to say to me, oh, it's hereditary, or you're big boned. I was like, okay, there's some people in this world that are naturally slim. There's some people that are big. So I assumed I would always be that way. And it was in 2014 I got to my largest, to 127 kilos, so 20 stone, 280 pounds. And I was verging on the UK size 26 dress that I brought. And I just kept going up and up a dress size. And it's like I never ever thought I could lose weight. Like, it's like it was drummed into me that I would always be big.
It's like self-fulfilling prophecy sort of thing.
Yeah, and you know that thing about, it's big boned and hereditary.
Yeah, my family were a little bit the same. Like, I used to be overweight when I was younger, and like I was always told, like, it's just the way you are or whatever. And even like my mum said, I was like, oh, you're getting too skinny. Like, I'm like 95 kilos. I'm like, how am I skinny? Like, then like if I get a bit fat, she's like, oh, you're getting fat, and you're like, you can't really win sometimes with family. And that's why for me personally, I don't think you should really ever comment on anyone's appearance, because like,
no, I agree with you. Even with family and stuff as well, I think sometimes you do have to wait till you're older. And I was obviously on the other side of the world now in the UK with not one family member here, and it was a chance for me almost to analyze myself and to go, what do I want to do? Because when you're with family so much, you absorb so many bad habits, you absorb traits and toxic or non-toxic traits as well from family growing up, that until you actually separate yourself and find out who you truly are, you almost have a chance to go, hang on, all that stuff I was told is not true. And that was sort of around my trigger point and how I got to the point of changing my whole life. So I guess in conclusion to your first question, that's how I came to this whole world of health and fitness and bodies and transformations and changing my life in a way to obviously try and help others change theirs as well, and not just weight loss related. I woke up one morning in 2014 and I felt paralyzed. I literally could not roll over.
So just because how heavy you were?
Yes. So basically, it was like I woke up and I was like, what the fuck? What? You can't move. What is going on? And as the shock wore off, I realized it was pins and needles. It was actually a trapped nerve. So, when you sleep at night, you sleep on your arm and you get like a dead arm feeling of pins and needles. I had that, but down the entire side of my body. And my hip was numb. I could just remember the feeling. And that was like the slap in the face to me. That was like, Carlie, get the hell up, get out of bed and move your body. That was the thing I said to myself, move. It's like I wanted to get my circulation going. And it's almost like I felt sorry for my body. I felt sorry for my limbs, my heart, my cardiovascular system, my knees, everything. I was almost going, what have you done to yourself? You've let yourself go so bad because you're happy, but it's almost like I was too happy. I didn't care in a way, because a lot of people say to me, well, if you were so happy big, why did you lose weight? And I said, I didn't actually lose the weight to lose weight, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
I actually got up that morning to get healthy, because I actually still did not believe I could lose weight. I thought I would always be big. But it was at this point I was such a workaholic. I was working 12, 13 hours a day in a recruitment job, sitting down all day, snacking on bad foods. Like, I was eating probably over 4,000 calories a day, more than bodybuilders sometimes eat and stuff, or than a grown man eats. And it was at that point I was like, you need to take control of your health. You need to do something for your poor body, your circulation, and I was at that point, I really realized what I was consuming in calories, in beverages, in food, and how little movement I was doing each day. And it was that moment on that I have never looked back. And I got up that morning and I started doing just 15 minutes of exercise a day. And then this was on a bike in my lounge room at home watching TV, because I was such a TV junkie. I could watch 30 hours of box sets a week, but yet I couldn't do any exercise. So I was like, Carlie, shift your butt from the couch to your exercise bike. And I rode an old exercise bike from Tesco's for 4 months in my lounge room and lost like my first 30 kilos.
Were you?
I didn't even step foot in the gym.
Did you do anything in terms of your diet, or just?
Yeah, so I did. I did really change my diet in terms of calories and portions. Yeah. I actually, funny enough, loved healthy food. You could
just a lot of it.
Food. Yeah. You give me a bag of nuts, I'll eat the whole thing. If I have one avocado, I want 3. But if I want a tub of yogurt, I'd have 2. So yeah, it was actually just eating so much food that I did not need, and I was not burning anything. So I looked at my life and everything I'd tried in my life to lose weight, not because I actually wanted to lose weight, but it's like this stigma in society or marketing gimmicks, all these fads and these gimmicks they try and sell you. But the day I actually wanted to lose weight for me and to actually get healthy for me was the day I actually saw the results. because I wasn't doing it for anyone else. I wasn't trying to please no one. I wanted to better myself and my life. So I started looking at all the food I was eating, everything I was consuming. And instead of just being brash and cutting things out like overnight, I knew that wouldn't work for me, because whenever you try and change something too drastically in your life, you'll give up in 3 weeks. And that's why, to me, diets don't work. Diets mean try something for 3 weeks and fail. A diet to me,
the first three letters of die, D-I-I-E.
Yeah, exactly.
That was quite a good analogy I like to say to people. Like, it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle change you need.
And this is what I went on, because I remember when I woke up, it was not about weight loss. I wanted to get healthy and start. Yeah, I wanted my limbs to feel better. I wanted to get my circulation. I wanted to feel good. I wanted to feel awake again. I was 28 years old and I felt like an old woman. So I strategically started cutting down on calories and beverages and looking at all the coffee, the orange juice, hot chocolates. Why was I even having them? They're a waste of calories, sort of thing. So I was looking at what I was having, and I tried to cut out like 200 to 300 calories every day or second day to get myself down from like 4,000 calories to 2,000. And that took me a good couple of weeks, because I didn't want to do it drastically. I wanted to almost trick my body to believing it was having less. And it was actually really good doing it that way. I started cutting down on calories. I was doing 15 minutes of exercise, and the next day doing 20 minutes, the next week doing half an hour. And I remember even one Sunday I cycled away watching a whole movie, and it wasn't even like a sweat cycle. It was just moving my body. And for me, this has been the trigger and the key through my entire journey, is just to move. Because a lot of people come on my Instagram and they say, "Oh, I don't know how to start." And I say, "Yes, you do. Put one foot in front of the other."
It's that simple. And that's like, that's what I say to people all the time.
Yeah.
Like, go to the gym, get outside then.
This is my thing. So I lost 4 stone in my lounge room before I ever joined a gym. And I did that with a few kettlebells and dumbbells from eBay, a skipping rope, and an old exercise bike from Tesco's. But you don't even need that. So I wanted to prove to people. It was at that point, once I actually noticed weight coming off, I was like, oh my God, I can lose weight. It's not big boned. It's not hereditary. Even the biggest family in the world, you don't have to be like that. You can lose weight. And it was at that 4 stone mark initially that I went, oh my God, I can do this. I'm going to prove to everyone in this world, or any person that wants to lose 5 kilos or 50 kilos or, 150 pounds, whatever you want to lose, you can do it. And all you need is you. And that is my slogan. If you want to achieve anything in this world, all you need is yourself. You don't need to rely on people. It's great to have a support system and all of that. But at the end of the day, if you want to make a change in your life, no matter what it is, whether it's to lose weight, put on weight, grow muscle, run a marathon, buy a Rolls Royce, get your dream job, whatever the hell you want to do, you can do it. But the key is you. And you don't need a lot of stuff to get you started. It's your mentality, it's your mindset of changing and doing things for you, not for other people. And from that day onwards, I vowed to myself I was going to lose half my body weight in 2 years with no help from anyone. So I chose not to have a personal trainer. I chose not to have a nutritionist. I chose not to do anyone's programs, diets, nothing. And there's no disrespect to any of that stuff. Some people do need that. But I wanted to prove, if you had no money, you couldn't afford all this stuff, or you couldn't have the resources, that I was an average woman with no family, no partner, working a full-time job, 55 hours a week, that I could do it too.
And what were you doing in terms of work, Carlie? Just explain for us if anyone can relate to it.
Yeah, so I was in recruitment and HR.
It's a high-pressure stress job then as well.
Yeah, so it was quite demanding. I was doing, like I said, 12, 13-hour days. It was quite a pressurized environment. And at points, I was also traveling overseas for them. So I was recruiting engineers out in Angola and Italy and Germany. So I was also on the go, traveling around for my work, traveling across the UK or globally. And I had no one to depend on. Like, I didn't come home at night to a partner saying, "Here, dear, I've cooked you a nice healthy meal." I only had myself. I had myself to get me up each morning, to take me to the gym. I had myself, to convince me to eat well each night. And I have a handful of great friends in the UK, and that's important. But I wanted to show, at your worst times in life or your lowest times, and no matter where you are in life, you will always have yourself. Like, we are our own best friends. We spend every second of our life with ourselves. You are the key to what makes success happen for yourself. You could have all the support in the world, but if you don't want to do something, it won't happen.
100%.
So
It's all about finding your why as well, isn't it? You're like the why of why you want to lose weight and doing it for the right reason. Like you did. It wasn't for anyone else. It was just for you and your own health.
And that's the thing. In my entire life, I knew I was big. I could have lost weight for my friends or for family or for a boyfriend, but that was never for me. So I knew it would never work. But the day I wanted to lose weight for me, it's like I started to have these small triggers that were niggering away at me subconsciously. And like in my life, I've always done everything I've wanted to do and nothing has ever stopped me because of my weight. But there was one time for my birthday, I went to Dubai. And all I've ever wanted to do in my life was skydive in Dubai. And I got there and they told me I couldn't because of my weight. They said, you can't jump because of your weight. And I was like, what?
Was this before you started the weight loss journey?
Yeah, this is before. So I was like, what do you mean I can't jump? I do everything I want in my life. Like no one tells me no. And he was like, sorry, you can't. Your BMI is too high and your body weight. And I was annoyed. I was so pissed off that for my birthday in Dubai, I could not skydive.
Was that a big trigger point for you? Just suddenly think like, shit, I need to...
It was like a trigger. And then something sort of like, when I got back off holiday, I forgot about it. It was like, oh, stuff it, go back to my life. Then there was another trigger I had. I went up, and this is when I realized how big I was. I'd never actually weighed myself. And I was again on holiday. And this was one of my other triggers where I was in Mexico and I weighed myself in the hotel room scales. And that's what I said. It was 127 kilos. And I was like, what? I couldn't believe it. And it was at that point, that was like a slap in the face. Like, look how big you are. You look how big you've got. Because I had no clue even how much I weighed.
Yeah.
And that was almost like another trigger. And then I got back to the UK again and did nothing about it. And then my last trigger was that morning waking up paralyzed. It was like something mentally was saying, Carlie, you need to do something. And it was this point that I finally decided to do something for me. And when I lost my initial 50 kilos, I wanted to do something to mark that moment. And a lot of people, they go out and celebrate, or they say, let's go out and have a nice meal, or let's go and have a cake or a cheap meal. I thought, I'm not a puppy. Don't reward me with food. I'm not a dog. How people like they want to. So what I did was I went back to Dubai and I jumped out that plane. So it was like this momentous feeling that I was actually almost cried when she checked me in. So when you go to Skydive Dubai, they weigh you and they take your height to do your BMI.
Yeah.
And because I am quite short, my BMI was still borderline at this point.
What's the limit that you're allowed to be for the BMI? I'm going to Dubai.
I can't remember what it is for Dubai, but Dubai is one of the only countries in the world that does it by BMI. Most places is just weight.
Yeah.
But I went back to Dubai in 2016 when I lost 50 kilos. 2015 when I lost 50 kilos. And I went there. And when I checked in and when she said, yes, you're good to fly, I literally dropped to my knees and I still get goosebumps. That was like, for me, I was done. I said to her, let me jump first. I'm cool to go now. And everyone was like, why are you so excited? You haven't even jumped yet. And I was like, that wasn't the point. It was the point I now could do it. And it was like, I remember the whole way up, I was giggling and I was laughing. And you can watch the video on my YouTube channel. But the whole way down, I was laughing. And the guy said to me, I've never seen someone so happy to jump out of a plane.
That's awesome.
And it was the most euphoric feeling because I was like, I did this. Because nothing in my life had ever told me no. So it was like I was determined to go back there and jump out of that plane because I got told no. And it was so euphoric. I remember jumping out and I was like, yeah, you did this, but it wasn't about the skydive. It was about, I did something to better my life and my health for me because I was always happy with how I was, but I knew I could be better. I knew I could be, healthier, fitter, happier, just even little things like helping my heart, helping my lungs, helping my blood flow. I think people see weight loss and think it's all about, people just want to be a size 8 or be slim. And it's for me, it was actually never about the outside. It was about the inside. But when I decided to change the inside, the outside followed.
Out of curiosity, did you find like mentally you feel like you fire on all cylinders and better now that you're healthier?
Yeah.
Like you're more conscious and you can perform better at work and like just overall perform better as a human being, as it were?
Generally, 100% I agree with you. I was always a very positive person beforehand anyway, so I think I had that knack in me. I was always a tough-skinned child. I was always full guns blazing, but now that's like tenfold. Like people always say to me I'm full of life, and I do. I feel like I'm 33 now, so almost turning 34, and I feel like I'm 19. Like, I feel full of energy. Touch wood, I usually never take medication. I never get headaches anymore. My body feels good. I don't take much pre-workout or energy drinks or anything. I have one coffee a day. I just feel full of life, and my outlook on life, even though like I said, I've always been positive and had a really good outlook, but now I feel the power and what you have when you achieve a goal. I now truly believe as anything in this world I can have, I can achieve. And I wanted to always relay my story, not just to weight loss, because I think there's a really big stigma in the health industry at the moment about, don't encourage people to lose weight, body confidence and all of that. Now, I'm a bit taboo with the whole body confidence thing. Because I agree, you should love yourself, but you can always love yourself to the best of your ability and be as good as you can.
Yeah, that's exactly what comes. I always think you have the ability to be the best you can be. And I think giving people that you can love yourself, which I agree with, but love yourself, but be your best self as well.
This is why I always say on my Instagram, because I'm a little bit taboo when it comes to the women's health industry about encouraging people to lose weight. I'm not saying people have to lose weight. But my theory in this world is you need to let people be. If someone wants to lose weight, let them. Yeah, if someone wants to put on weight, let them. Yeah, my theory is I think we jump too much on criticizing people for wanting to do something. And I think my big thing I believe in is just because you want to change yourself does not mean you hate yourself. Because I want to change myself, but I'm still happy with who I am. But I know I can change to be even better than I was. And I think in the world today, people assume if you want to change or you want to lose weight, it's because you dislike what you are. And I'm like, not always. I was happy with who I was, but I still wanted to be better.
You just want to improve.
Yeah, and I think there's a bit of a stigma around that, and you shouldn't have to lose weight, body confidence and all this. And I'm like, I think that the whole lines are getting blurred about health, body confidence, weight, muscle, whatever it might be.
And I'm not talking out of turn, but I don't know if this is if you'd agree, but I think this is where the world's become very PC and soft and giving out third place trophies for things a little bit, where if someone wants to lose weight, then by all means it's great for them. If they want to build muscle and look like a bodybuilder, up to them, great. Let people do whatever they want as long as it doesn't hurt anyone else. That's
exactly. Oh, Charlie, I'm so glad you said that, because I did an interview recently and I said the same thing. I said, if in my life, I truly believe if I'm not hurting anyone, any kid, any animal, any person, I'm not doing anything maliciously, let me be. Let me do what I want to do. And I truly believe that ethos for everyone. If there's something you want to do in your life, go and do it, regardless what the popular trends are at the moment, regardless of what your family wants you to do, your partner, your business, whatever. I think if you are not hurting anything in this world and what you are doing is benefiting you, go for it. Go for it, all guns blazing. Because life is too short. This is not a dress rehearsal.
You get one shot.
Yeah, and I think we get so. I'm fortunate that I have lived in different countries. I've traveled over 45 countries, and I've lived in 3 places. I do think UK is one of the worst places for jumping on bandwagon stigmas, being too PC, don't offend people.
Close-minded.
Yes. I don't know, being from Australia, we are very thick-skinned. We take things on the chin. We say things as it is. We are very direct people.
Funny enough, I work with Muscle Nation, and some of the WhatsApp groups, some of the banter that comes through in there. Initially, I was like, this is a bit harsh. And then I was like, but now I'm used to it. I'm starting to get down with the Australian lingo and the banter.
So this is the thing. We are very to the point. If something's got a problem with someone, you say it. If you don't like something, you say it.
Well, I like it up front.
So do I. And I have... Bear in mind, I've been in the UK for 9 years. I do love the UK more than I thought I would, but I do struggle a lot with the way people's mentality and opinions and, you can't do that because that's not cool, or you can't do that because that's mean. And I was like, well, no, if it affects me and it's what I want to do, I'm going to bloody well go do it. And tough luck, because my life is my life.
Yeah, 100%. It's quite an interesting thing. So it's exactly the same for you and for me. So you wouldn't have done your own weight loss journey if you weren't away from your family, because they wouldn't have probably initially agreed with probably what you were doing.
I think I still may have eventually done it, because
you would have probably done it because you're very headstrong. I can tell just talking to you.
Yeah, I don't conform to family very easy either. I don't live in a close family anyway. Yeah. I still will always. I was a rebellious teenager. I did what I wanted anyway. But I think I still maybe wouldn't have seen the light in terms of some things I was brought up with and told. I was still always very much my own person, and I left Australia when I was 24, but we're coming up to almost 10 years since I left. I do believe I I became my own person and found myself, is what I always say, in the UK. And I found what I truly am passionate about and what I wanted to do. And that's why I wanted to use my story to take that. And I've actually written my biography, which is called Half the Size but Twice the Life. And it tells my full story. It's actually my life story from being a child, what I went through, my teenage years, my 20s, all the traveling, everything, the skydive stories in there. But I wanted to use my story not just to teach people about, oh, hey, go and lose some weight, you can do it. It was trying to show people, and the underlying message throughout my book is about, if you want to change your life, you can. And this is how you can do it. And that's why I wanted to write the book. So I think a lot of people see my book and just assume, oh, it's about weight loss. But I've had loads of people started reading it, like even businessmen who've worked in my company or corporate people I know coming up to me and saying, oh my God, that's inspired me to go and do that course I wanted to do, or that's inspired me to go travel the world. And I wanted to show people that your life is yours. Like let yourself live, go and do what you want to do. And I hope that sort of maybe through my weight loss story and my life journey of traveling across the world and being who I wanted to be can help others go and do that as well. So yeah, that's ultimately how my life has changed and how I want to help others do the same.
Nice. It's really inspiring. I think like the big thing, I imagine what your book mainly covers, I guess, is in terms of mindset and the mindset change that it took to make you, like initially your mind has to change to become the person you want to become, if that makes sense.
No, and I truly believe that. It's almost like you need to like slap yourself in the face or unlearn every habit you've ever learned. You have to behave like the person you want to be like, is the way I always think. So like if I want to aspire to be like a certain person, I need to act like that person now in every daily habit that I do. And then eventually I'll evolve into that person. Exactly. It's like affirmations and things like that. You have to truly believe you already are that person. The saying, fake it till you make it. I get that saying. I sort of, the words I don't like fake it, but I get what it means. Like it's become that person now, and then you already are that person. Yeah, and it's like when you want things in your life, or people that lack confidence or something, I always say to them, start telling yourself how much you love yourself every day, even if you don't believe it yet. Because for me, I've always been confident and I can say it and believe it. But for some people who don't believe it, they need to start telling themselves every day they do. And eventually they will, like they'll absorb that. And they will. And it's all about changing that mindset of how you look at yourself, how you believe you can have things in life. And then it will actually become your life. So I completely agree with that.
So with obviously your weight loss journey is incredible. So it can't have all been plain sailing. What was the hardest point in your weight loss journey?
Oh, do you know what? People ask me this all the time and they say what was the worst? Or
don't say it was a piece of piss and it was a doddle. It must have been something.
No, do you know what? I would say though, if someone had told me years earlier, it would have been easier than I thought. I wish I could convey that message and put it in a jar and sell it to everyone, because there was something.
The main thing is consistency.
I think, for me, it was the day I wanted to make the change and saw the benefits of my change, not just on the outside. It was about how I felt on the inside. I was like, wow, this is amazing. This is great. And as I sort of went through the journey, there were days that were hard, or hanging out with certain friends that knew the old partying Carlie who didn't understand. So I think you need to be prepared when you set out on a journey for yourself. The hardest bits and the hardest thing you're going to have to swallow is you will lose friends, you will lose family, and you need to prioritize what's best for you. You can't. Yeah. So I think maybe that was the hardest thing, that was having a lifestyle change, but seeing the benefits. There'll still always be cravings and temptations and things around you, but you have to remember the short-term 5-minute satisfaction of temptation. What is that worth more 5 years of temptation, like 5 years of benefiting yourself and what you can do with the other goals? So I think it wasn't completely plain sailing, but I would say it was easier than I ever thought it would be. Not easy in the sense it was a cinch overnight, because it did take me 2 years to do it.
Was the most difficult part just getting started, though, would you say, the first step?
So, no, I would say the hardest thing was when I got to the easiest thing for me was actually starting, because once I had that trigger and I started, I loved it. I really actually enjoyed learning about my body, the whole journey, the process. I think the hardest bit was getting to my 2-year mark. And when I set that goal for myself, I was going to lose half my body weight, so 10 stone in 2 years. I did it. And I remember I woke up that morning, I was like, wow, I've done it. What now? And I think maybe that was the hardest thing, that you have to realize, say anything you want to achieve in life, when you get to the finish point or something, there's like a reward, or like you say you study a course, you finish a course, or you save for a car and you get that car. With a body journey or a fitness goal, it's a little bit different. You've done it, but there's nothing like a big hurrah at that point. Like, I was satisfied, don't get me wrong. I was so proud of myself, but it was like, what now? This is my life. Because people used to say to me, when is it over? When are you going to stop this? And I say, the day I die. You know, like, there's no...
People say the same thing to me, when are you going to stop working out? When I can't do it.
Exactly.
Like, when I'm
exactly.
It's a lifestyle. It's not.
So I think that was a bit of the thing. There is no massive... Like, it was a big hurrah. I'd lost all the weight. But because it's so gradual over time, you have to really put your all and passion into doing this. Because if not, there's almost like this finish line that never ends in a way, and it's always trying to better yourself and find the next goal. And I was very honest about this in my book. I talked about the 2-year mark that I got there, and it wasn't like the biggest celebration or hurrah for me. I was like, oh, okay, I've done it. And I know it's a bit of a letdown, but I got there and I realized, now what? Now what do I set myself? Where do I go now? And it was about accepting, when you change your life and your body, you have to just keep going with it, because it's not an ending that you get given a big prize. It's almost that whole journey is the prize, the whole life gain, the whole health gain. But because it's gradual over time, there's no big like thing being handed to you at the end saying, here you go. But in effect, it's your life's almost being handed to you, like saying, you're better now, you're healthier, you're fitter, you know, you've got probably more life ahead of you. But it was a weird feeling, and that was maybe the weirdest thing about the journey. I know it's a bit of a strange answer, but it wasn't like the big hurrah that you get with any goal. So it was just something a little bit different. Once I got started, it was fine, but and this is why people give up on goals a lot, because the gradual time it takes to get there, people give up. People go, oh, I'm so bored of this. So, and that's why I wanted to be honest in my book about that as well, that it's not all happy, exciting. You're not being handed a big prize at the end. You're doing this for your own health. So when I think you're not expecting something drastic, that you're just every day improving your health, and when you look at it in that way, you're not just worried about what you see in the mirror or what numbers are on the scales. You have to remember that every day you're bettering your life.
That's progressing daily, though, isn't it? Just being the best you can be.
Yeah. And that's what I think people have to remember with any sort of journey. It is a progressive thing, day in, day out. You have to live your life. You have to be healthy. You have to keep it up. And it is a long process, and I'll never hide that from people or say it was, you know, I say it was easier than I thought, but it was still, you know, it was persistence, dedication.
Success. Yeah.
No, definitely. And that's why I say to people, set yourself small goals, set yourself measurable things that are realistic. Don't go and say you're going to lose 20 kilos in a month, or, you know, drop 3 dress sizes by, you know, a certain day. You have to really be realistic with what you want to achieve.
I also think, I think sometimes people having those sort of goals, like me personally, I'm a very driven individual when it comes to like my business, my physique, my training, whatever. I find often it's probably partly my personality type, when you achieve those goals, it often leaves you feeling vacant and what's next. Whereas if you
that's maybe what
smaller daily little like challenges, when you have like an awesome workout or you nail something or something goes really well and you feel great afterwards, those small victories often always feel better than the big wins as an overall in my opinion.
Maybe that's what I was trying to sort of mean with my when I got to the 2-year mark. I was like, oh, well, this is it. Yeah, and
what do I do now? It's like,
literally, I woke up in the morning and I was like, oh my God, I've done it. It's the 2-year mark. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, yeah, I knew I was going to do it yesterday, you know. But like, I think maybe that was me, because I've been this pressure on myself, in a good way pressure. I don't always think pressure is associated with a bad thing. I think I knew I would get there, and it was almost like this whole, oh my God, I've done it. And then it was like, yeah, what is next now? You know, I'm going to carry on with this, but what do I want to do now in terms of using the body I've made and the mentality I've made? So what can I achieve now? And it was about then setting straight away the next goal, because I almost need something to work to. And whether that be a fitness goal or a life goal or any type of thing, I need something to work towards in life. And that probably is down to my mentality and always having something to look forward to and looking for something to aim to. Now, whether that be a business goal, getting my next book out, or, what I want to do now, it's always having something to achieve for yourself. Because I think mentally we need in life things to strive for.
100%. Anyone who's looking to start their transformation, their journey, what would be one thing you would say to them, Carlie?
I think do it, get up, walk,
that's great. Someone said to me is like that someone had on their desk was do it now. Like whatever it is that you're thinking about doing, just do it now.
I think people in society procrastinate too much, or they
just jump in with both feet. And I'm a bit reckless.
Yeah,
but like that's probably my personality.
Another type of person as well. They always feel like, they'll ask someone how to do it. So I'm sure you get a load of people like I do saying, "How do I start?" They feel like by asking the question, it's still procrastinating.
Yeah.
So my thing is, anyone wanting to do something, I'm going to say do it, but make sure you are doing it for the right reason. That is my number one thing. If you're not, if you are not doing it for you and you don't have a why, you will give up. You won't last.
Because when it gets hard, the motivation will drop, and you won't have the discipline. You haven't got the why to underpin it all.
So yes, if in this world, if anyone wants to achieve anything, fitness, health, weight loss, weight gain, whatever it is, if you want to do it, have your why, have your reason, and set yourself a mini target to go for. And I always say to people, you don't have to go run a marathon tomorrow. Go walk for 10 minutes. Well done. You've started. Day one's done. Well done. Go on to day two. I think, people freak out thinking they have to go in the gym and lift 100 kilos and do all this stuff, and that's a big workout. No. My first day, I did 15 minutes, and I didn't even own gym class back then.
I find very frustrating. I have to slow clients down when they start working with me. It's like they want to go in and they want to do 2 hours cardio. They want to train like 3 times a day and do all this crazy stuff. I was like, no, slow down.
They'll give up. You need to almost
burn out in 3 days, and you won't be able to walk.
No, exactly. And then they hate it, and then. You have those friends that go to the gym together, and one person always encourages the other, and the other starts making up excuses because they're not enjoying it and wanting to go anymore. My thing is, if you enjoy it and start small, you will actually start to crave it. And that's what I did. I actually started wanting to come home from work and, jump on my exercise bike. I stopped smoking. I stopped drinking, everything, because I was actually really enjoying the process of learning to get to know me. And that's why I'm not saying I'm against weight loss surgery. I'm not the biggest fan of it because I don't think it changes any of your mentality. It doesn't change your habits. It doesn't change any of your cardiovascular or your organs. So you actually don't benefit from the whole learning about yourself and process. You don't change anything on the inside technically. That means your body will just go back to how it was. So I actually think enjoy the process, enjoy the whole part of getting to know yourself, starting small. Yeah, use it as like a getting to know yourself. Like it's a bit of like it sounds.
Your own biofeedback from your body is the way I look at it, and that's like I'm a nerd and I'm fascinated with training, performance recovery, and like how my body feels from doing certain things is what I love.
Yeah, and that's the same as me. It's how you feel mentally, physically on the inside. Like I always say go back to sports that you enjoyed as a child. You don't like we said, we don't have to be in the gym or lifting weights. If you liked dancing when you were a child, go and dance. If you liked swimming as a kid, do that. If you liked, I don't know, rock climbing, whatever it is, those little things. Whatever it is to make you move, because that I say at the end of the day was my thing that kept me going. Move your body. And that is it. The rest will come. Move your body, have fun, be happy, eat well, sleep well, drink your water, mind your own business, and you'll be good. Yeah, I that's my thing. I always say, do you. Just do you and do it bloody well. And when you get that mentality, you'll start to just enjoy doing what you're doing. You're not doing things for other people. You're not drained. You're using your energy for the good things in life. And then that starts to make you feel good on the inside. When you feel good on the inside, it's like this magical circle.
Outside will come good as well.
Yeah, and it just comes round. And I think this is what everyone now is trying to please others. Yeah, everyone's trying to please everyone else, do things for Instagram and all this stuff on social media. Instead, just go, hang on, and I'm like, what do I actually want to do? What do I want to do for me? And I'm going to do it.
What makes you happy?
And when you're happy, you treat your body better as well. Like when people are unhappy or depressed or sad, they might drink more, they might smoke more, they might eat bad foods. So I think it all really does link. And like you said, I'm quite fascinated as well about how the body works, how it reacts to things, how it feels mentally, physically. But I do think when you start to treat yourself like you would a lover, a best friend, a family member, when you treat yourself like that, it really will show on the outside.
100%. Well, we'll start to wrap that up there then, Carlie. So in terms of yourself, where can everyone get hold of your book, which I know is coming out?
So it has been out now for about 4 months, half the size but twice the life, and you can actually buy it worldwide. So in the UK, like Waterstones, WH Smith, in America, Amazon is there, Barnes and Noble, Walmart. It's literally globally. So I'm quite blessed and grateful that it's doing quite well. It's out, working on some next projects now as well. But
I'll pop the link in the show notes for anyone to go and check that out then. And in terms of your other social platforms, obviously we mentioned your Instagram, you mentioned you've got YouTube, any others to check out?
So I've got YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, the whole shebang. My website is www.misscarlij.com. You Google my name, you'll find something to read.
Absolute pleasure of conversation. I know it's been truly inspiring for so many people today. So thank you so much for coming on the show, Carlie, and hopefully we'll bump into each other soon, I'm sure.
In
the circles here, we never met in person.
I know. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thanks.